That makes
preparing and
sense.
estimating and all that.
Yeah, man. So before we started working together here with Donyus, what was like the most frustrating thing about looking for work?
I would definitely see, or sorry, I would definitely say that it was mostly just honestly just finding builders to just work with and people that just fit, me as a clientele and just kind of growing. Like here in North Idaho, especially, I think people struggle with um, just finding people that will commit to them.
Cool, man.
And most people are like, "Oh, I already know somebody. I already have somebody." And I mean, just in the few months that I worked with you, you know, we already had what it was like 8 opportunities or something like that that came across, and like it's amazing. It's already that's easily produces 100 grand of clients. I think your onboarding, everything's honestly pretty good. You know,
Awesome. Whenever you were kind of like first reached out, what made you start looking for something like Donyus? What kind of got your attention from it in the first place?
honestly, you're somebody I followed you before this whole system, and I just enjoyed how real you were. That you actually have field experience, and you built this around struggles that you had that I think a lot of guys share. You know,
Awesome.
um,
Yeah.
so I think you're a good fit for anybody that's really just trying to grow, that just wants better clients. You'll be a bad fit for somebody who does bad work that isn't good at what they do already. If you're somebody who is like new to construction, this will probably make you look worse than make you look better. But if you already do good work, you know what you're doing. I think this is perfect for anybody who's experienced. He's hands on the job site, but he just really just doesn't have time to deal with expensive ads or just marketing and all that. This is it's perfect for subcontractors just that want that steady growth.
Right, right. And what were you skeptical or nervous about before starting?
Um, honestly, probably just the fact that you know it just you're somebody who's trying to create something new. And that's always scary. You're pretty much relying on somebody across the U.S. that something worked for him, but it might not work for you. So it's just one of those things where I'd say, I don't think I was really scared of anything. I liked your Instagram page. I liked what you were preaching. And it was pretty easy to become a follower of it.
Awesome, man. So yeah, that no, that makes sense. And then, like you said, I'm actually looking at your results right now. And in the 2 months that you were running, you actually got nine responses, nine opportunities on those.
Mhm.
I don't know. Did any of those kind of turn into anything? Did you submit any bids? Kind of what happened on those?
Um, I
Okay.
mean, I'll be honest. I wanted to submit, but I just didn't have time. Like,
Okay.
I was running around scrambling, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do it in the office tomorrow." And tomorrow came around, and if I just had flooring going on, it'd be a lot easier. But
If you did just have that, Dan, and you were able to like really
I
just
mean,
focus in on those, how
I
much
mean,
would you say
I
those
talked.
would be worth?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a few of the builders. I reached out, and they're all pretty willing to work with me, and they're, something as simple as just sending you over the numbers, meeting on the job site, and just creating that relationship. It kind of takes out the pain of cold calling, and especially me, I'm not good with first impressions. So over the phone, I'm gonna glitch. While for this guy, especially one of the builders we talked to, he was super good. Real, it was easy conversation. He already knew who I was. It was just something as simple as reaching out. That's all you're doing. Like this guy's ready to connect with you. You just have to make the next step. And
Right.
if I took the extra time to just, you know, send him what he needed, take a look at it, I mean, I think just him alone, from the sounds of it, would have probably gave me an extra 50, 60 grand of revenue this year. So it would have been, a good paycheck. But
Amazing,
just
amazing. So outside of the dollar amount, right, which is obviously a big thing that a lot of subs ask for, what did you notice was different about this system? Like what was a little easier for you on it? Was it, you didn't really have to be hands-on with it? What's something that stood out to you on that?
Um, I think something different is it's low key old school. You
Hmm.
know, like it's something that somebody like me, I'm not very techy. It's something I can understand. You know, like you describe it. I mean, I don't understand the background and all the CRMs and all that stuff, but I understand what's happening, that we're emailing people, your sequences, like it all makes sense, and in the future, if I ever have to come back, for marketing or something like that, I'd probably just come right back to here. It just makes sense. I love how just simple everything was. I honestly, the hardest thing is about leaving is that, I like that you put in so much effort and time and energy into really creating it, and within like I think it was like not even 2 weeks, we already started doing, sending emails out.
Yeah,
Um,
man. No, I appreciate that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you be to recommend Donyus to another sub that you know is kind of going through the same kind of marketing constraints that you were kind of facing?
yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, 10 out of 10. Like, I mean, I know everyone's gonna say that, obviously, but um, in reality, you have 9 results from clientele that you want to see. You have somebody who's constantly working on it, somebody you can put a face to. Um, it's I mean, in my opinion, this is worth a lot more than what I paid for it. Somebody should be paying more for it, but um, in reality about it though is that it's for the amount that for what you get for your specific niche in your market, like you can't put a number on it. And service communication is top notch. If anything, you over communicated to me. So I mean, I would say 10 out of 10. I was actually in my head thinking about if there's any like really good guys here that I'm gonna shoot your way.
Awesome.
Where they could.
I would definitely appreciate that. But if you were talking to another sub who was on the fence about it, kind of iffy, didn't know if they would go yes or no, they're in the middle. What would you tell them about joining Don Dan?
Honestly, I would just tell them like, hey, I mean, I've tried Angie's, I've tried, man, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I've tried local magazines, marketing. I've tried cold calling, and what all those things have in common is that you take a lot of time out of your day to try to make something work. This is if you're fully operational and you're a sub and you're, on the ground running, this is honestly something that's perfect for you. You're gonna spend X amount of dollars. The first 2 months will be maybe a little slow, but even that, it's been 2, 3 months and we still had, 3 clients per month pretty much.
Yep.
So I mean, it's honestly, I would just tell them like you have nothing to lose, you know, and even if you get, let's say, if I fully reached out to that one custom builder who was willing to work with me, it was just a matter of me not having time. Like 90% of the work was done for me pretty much.
That's awesome.
Even if it's one builder, that one builder, already paid off my monthly, subscription to you.
Right. Yeah. Awesome,
So
bro. So just a couple more questions here, Dan. We'll wrap it up so we can get
you're good.
going. So if you had to sum up your experience in one sentence that I could put on the website, right? What would
Mhm.
what would you say? What would you say that would be? Here, you can complete this sentence. So
Yeah.
Don use is great for subs who.
Honestly, who needs someone else to do it for you or something? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not. The best thing is I can't put it in a sentence, but to sum it up, it's somebody getting you 90% of the way there. You
I
know,
love that.
and I think that's the best way. You have to do 10%. You don't do your 10%, it's all for nothing. But you pretty much got me 90% of the way, and it was me who has to take that next 10% and create the create the relationship.
Love that, man. So the last question is more for me, Dan, just so I can really learn from it, man. What's anything at all that you think I could do better, maybe differently? Maybe something where you say I have room to improve for next upcoming subs. Anything at all?
Honestly, man, not really. I mean, if you created a system that could maybe get you the email addresses quicker, and then maybe figure out a system where, um, like for example, me, I don't, we spent like a week maybe just going back and forth trying to get our email CRM set up. I feel like if that process was like a little bit smoother, I think that'd be nice. But in all reality, it's a week of light work for the consumer. It's more work for you than for us.
Awesome, man.
Or maybe create, your own platform, where, like something kind of like Squarespace that you could have them tie in their websites to, and then you could quickly just have your own system in it. But I mean, I would say that that's like something that's just going to be developed over time. It's not
Yep.
really a you thing. It's just something that needs to be developed.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. No, I appreciate that, but that makes a lot of sense, and that's one of the things I've been focused on is like that those first couple of days. I've
hmm
noticed that it was a little bit. Yours was probably one of the longer ones, and I've tried to compact that now to about 3 days. I got it down, so it's a little more automatic, but that's
hmm
definitely somewhere where I can always work on, man. But so this is done with the recording, Dan.
hmm